really stepping up to the plate. For Zeus Esports, though, yeah, sure. I mean, they have been kind of quite a couple of games, but that's the way they kind of play, right? That you have games where they just pop off and just take over the entire server, or they just kind of quietly go out in a whimper in the bottommost position. So I'm still gonna wait and figure out how they're gonna be performing later on in the event. But Blacklist International and GeekFam as well, again, right? They were able to get some really high placements earlier, and even here a 5th position is very, very respectable.
I think for Zeus Esports as well here, Jason, I think we have to commend them getting a 3rd place during this game because Ably was able to do so well, slipping undetected during those moments. I think the scary thing for me at the moment is Bigatron, the superpower from Indonesia. These guys, although not putting up the expected performance we know from them because they're just always on top, they are still creeping up behind. And we know that Bigatron can have the most explosive days possible. So as long as they stay towards the front of that peloton, they don't fall too far behind, there is still a chance. And that's got to scare some of the guys towards the top.
Well, to be fair, there's still a chance for all these teams. I mean, at the end of this next match, we'll only be a 4th of the way through our total matches being played throughout the East Conference. And we see the likes of Navi there. We know how powerful they can be, I guess, once they get adjusted to the lobby. A couple of other names, DRS. We saw Take a Chicken Dinner earlier on today. They also come out with only 1 point. Reject, unfortunately, the team from Japan we were talking about as, really surprised us and really showing us that Japanese strength. Unfortunately had a rough game, I guess we could say here. But to move on from this, I mean, you already talked about it before, Blank. You touched on it. Average placing 3rd for Valdez, average placing 4th for Xavier. I want to look at these teams' average stats to see how similar or maybe dissimilar they might be in certain aspects, because these are, well, at least one of the teams I didn't really expect to be putting on quite a performance today.
100%, Jason. I mean, just looking at the stats as we will see them come on our screens very shortly, it is a little bit of a difference here. And I mean, to be honest with you, Valdez are so far ahead at this point, almost 30 points ahead of Xavier, 50 points to 79. Sorry. I'm just throwing that out there right now. I've got to let the guys know. But look at the average survival time. I think the average survival time is probably the most important here. Xavier's very close to Valdez Esports. However, Valdez are just currently being massive in the damage category. Literally everything is better on this side, which obviously is going to come through. But looking at this, you wouldn't expect, Blair, for Valdez Esports and Xavier to be 1st and 2nd place in the overall rankings.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to even pretend that I would expect these two teams to be on top. Maybe, at the end of the first couple of games, but now that everyone's kind of warmed up, everyone's feeling pretty comfortable here, the fact that Valdez and the Xavier are able to maintain this consistency and showing that the Southeast Asian region is not something to be trifled with is very impressive. Now, we talk about these two teams, but I got to give a shout out to GeekFam as well. From Malaysia, sure, they have a 7th average placement, but they're right now placed 3rd as well on the leaderboard. They're looking very, very good. Excuse me, I almost choked there, but...
oh, dear.
Excuse me. But then again...
Well, Xavier choked as well, so I mean, you're just doing the part, right?
Oh, you said it, not me. But I feel like it's just the fact that the Southeast Asian countries, regions where we don't really expect them to, I wouldn't say not do good, obviously they're good enough to be here, but not really dominate the way they have so far. I think that is what's impressed me a lot. And if this is the trend that's going to continue going into day 2 tomorrow, I know we still have one more game remaining here, I think we're in for a very, very interesting event.
Yeah, it's a very interesting event. I feel like we're going to see teams adapt as we get through the next coming days. We'll touch on that a little bit later on once we do finish off the show. But before we get to that, obviously the match is coming up in just a few minutes' time. We wanted to dive further into the two teams we were just looking at in terms of who are the standout players and their kind of head-to-head between each other when we look at the radar. And you can see it's going to be Martin and Frankie coming through here for the respective teams. And funny enough, I mean, you're seeing with Martin, he's going to be over on the blue side. He is putting up some big numbers yet again. #1, I believe, in damage, kills, and knockouts.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, this leads back to my earlier point where, I look at these two teams and I look at their stats, and if I'm looking at it objectively, I'm like, Valdez is in 1st, but Xavier's probably around about a 6th or a 7th placing. But no, they're 2nd. In the same place here, Frankie versus Martin. Frankie being the best player on Xavier so far in terms of stats percentages, but Martin makes him look terrible by comparison. It is ridiculous.
Damage numbers, man, that's just ludicrous, isn't it?
Well,
go on.
But I think we have to keep in mind is that maybe it's one of those cases, Blink and Blah, where Martin is just playing that well for his team, but maybe he's going to be the standout player that if they're going to do well, he's the one to make it happen. Whereas aside for Xavier, maybe it's not just Frankie, maybe it's just multiple members that are all firing all cylinders, allowing them to play like this. So the question comes: Is this just maybe a one-off day here for Valdez? As he's been able to play so well, can other people step up to his level? What if he doesn't play well? Will we see Valdez fall off on day 2?
I think that we're going to continue to see Valdez do very well here, Jason, purely because I've been taking note of their rotations and they've been playing really well as a team. There's a lot of times where they'll take a central spot or a place that has a lot of flow through of teams, where there's a lot of traffic there, and they'll hold them down. We've seen them multiple times playing on those ridge sides and really being able to control space. And I think that's one of the major things during these tournaments, especially with Southeast Asian teams and the East being so oppressive in their rotations as well. Being able to do that so effectively and confidently speaks volumes to Valdez Esports.
Well, on the note of speaking volumes, I think we need to take a look at our top 10 killers, because I think that's going to really show which teams and which players individual are speaking volumes about what they can bring to the table so far in today. And we actually are going to see Concept come through out of Valdez as well at 12 kills. So we see 2 players from Valdez make it into the top 10. But Bleh, is there anything else that surprises you in our top 10 kills overall?
Yeah, I mean, 4 games down, and I have to touch upon, like you just said, Martin, Concept, and Tyra has won a 6th position, right? So it's not just a Doc Martin show. Everyone is delivering in when they have to. But where's Zol? Where's Crypto? Like, where's Zuxi, for example? The fact that they're not there, it's kind of crazy. I do not expect to see this at the end of Game 4.
The thing is, for me, and Blank, you already touched on this, right? If we want to talk about Bigatron a bit, which we obviously do have to talk about Bigatron, they have such a big legacy behind them. They have so many eyes watching them, whether it's Indonesian fans or fans all around the world, that it amounts to a lot of pressure. But one thing this team showed us when it came to PMGC is they could have a bad day or two. Thinking back to the league stage, we had like a terrible day 1 for them in week 1. Day 2, they come out, knocking out 93 points and getting themselves into the Super Weekend. So we know that potential. But I do wonder, have other teams just surpassed Bigatron? Are Bigatron not as good as we used to see them?
I think that, Bigatron is one of those teams where we have seen them being, fairly consistent today. It's one of those cases where they're not falling behind, which is great. This is really good news for any Indonesian fans out there of the team of Bigatron. But I do think that it just feels a little bit off to me at times where they're not really adapting. It's the same playstyle we've seen a lot of times. What I'm really excited about, though, is the fact that Liquid is in these top fraggers. And if you're a Liquid, you're feeling pretty happy because the pressure's on there. You're feeling some big boots in Micro Boy, and honestly, continue to do well. The pressure's off him now.
All right, well, the game is ready. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for your analysis of that last match. We'll check with you guys when our 5th and final one is done for the day. It's time to bring our commentators back in as we're going to head to our 5th and final match here with Maxman and Imperium.
We're getting back into it. Thank you so much, Jason, as always. And one more game to go. And I'm not going to lie, Imperium.
Oh, yes.
These games have been going by so fast. Like, that's what they say, right? You're having a good time, don't see the time go by. And it really feels like that today. We're already 4 games done, 1 more game remaining. Doesn't feel that way. It seemed like we've done 2 games, man.
Time flies when you're having fun, Max, and I'll tell you what, we've had a hell of a lot of fun, and we have 1 more game to have even more fun, I suppose, as the plane path has shown up, and he's going from the south. Well, yeah, we're southeast-ish.
It's staying south. There's a helicopter now.
Sorry, southwest.
In there.
Sorry, to the northwest. So it's going to be obviously quite tricky for Yala, BTR, Myth as well, who all like to drop on the eastern side of the map. So I'm curious if they have secondary drop spots that they're looking to utilize in this Erangel map.
I'll see how this one's going to be closing off, though. You see how Jason on the desk, when I'm not there, he's attacking me even more. I'm giving on my medal to the pedal, how I say consistency a lot.
Yeah.
Like, not gonna lie, I'm not there to defend myself. Jason, I'm...
But here's the thing.
Not nice.
Here's the thing, Max, would you realistically be able to defend yourself, though?
That's a completely different matter. The thing is I'm not there. And probably not. Let's be clear. He's very tall, right? When we meet him in LAN, hopefully we'll have LANs at the end of the year. Yeah, I'm scared. And he stares at me when I'm eating a banana too, man. I don't know. The guy.
Yeah, but that's for different reasons, mate. That's
probably something off topic completely. Though what's going to be also off playing path is going to be the circle. It's completely off of that one. So not a lot of teams are going to be into that one. So early rotations are going to be important. I'm expecting a few to try and pull them off. BTR, we're talking about them on a desk, hoping to see them get themselves a good result up and through. They're going to be already inside the circle itself, so no big issues. Though Primorsk, having a team in there doesn't happen all the time, and now having 3 on top of that, now that's something really out of the realm of possibilities we usually see in PUBG Mobile Esports.
We have Yala from Saudi Arabia, we have Myths from Algeria, and we have Fnatic Zombies from UAE, and Hamco has started things off in a nice way with the M16. Just want to say that is a wholly underrated weapon in my eyes. The burst fire can be a little bit tricky to handle, but when you do, it can do a lot of damage, and in this case, it certainly has on the Broly, but most likely inside the cafe, the revive will come out because I just don't think Fnatic Zombies as a team are ready to at least fight. However, it will slow down the myths inside their Primorsk position.
Nah, I don't like the M16. I don't like it.
Really?
Nah, because I can't use it.
Okay, fair enough then.
That's why I'm here talking about the game instead of playing, man. I can't use anything. The only thing I can use is a DP28, man, and that's great. Same as Uzi.
Fair enough.
If I only get like a bit of damage, which is great. I'm still happy with myself. I'm still proud. Still get killed by bots every once in a while.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You know what? We'll see if we're going to be proud of Hamco Fires. He's going to try and fire up this game. Spotted out with a DP28 to Hosem of Myth. He's going far wide, but you should hear the footsteps. You should be... Oh, hits one, hits the second, and Hosem will be the one to get things done with the Vector. And they're going to go and instantly confirm that kill.
One thing I've got to ask, though, is...
Yeah.
Hamco got the first kill onto a Myths player. Where the hell is the rest of the Fnatic Zombies team, right? Again, I'm not saying they are able to push it as a team, but the best thing you can do in that situation is at least join up with your teammate that has done a wonderful job of getting an initial knock. So if there's any kind of attempt for Myth to fight back, that Fnatic Zombies are there as a team. That wasn't the case. Myth did fight back. Hamco got taken out. Just poor team play from Fnatic Zombies in that moment.
I guess to put it in as words is you have one player taking a fight, gets the kill. You know he alerted his position and given that information over to other teams. So because of that, you should back him up. Actually, I fully agree with that. I think there was definitely something to do with Hamco Fire's position. Unfortunately, it seemed like that was not meant to be in this one. Myth trying to move around the place a little bit. Fnatic Zombies. I'm happy for Fnatic Zombies to have found a secondary drop location. I thought that they were going to be a one-hit wonder team where they're always dropping Novo, even if the plane path was not going to be good. I'm happy to see that that is not the case, but now you're actually forced into a very early fight. And because of where they are currently in the circle, especially you have two players that are very far over to the west of Primorsk, I would say if you can pick up a car that spawns over there, get into it and leave. The more you delay this one, the harder it will get because you're not in a circle. Actually, you're nowhere near the circle.
I know this is going to sound silly, and the timing of it is incredibly... Thank you. Is incredibly risky, but a boat Tate down the south of military base and come in through Milta Power. It would be, you know, timing would be, of course, important, but that could work out. However, Mexico from Fnatic Zombies has at least been able to get a kill for his team onto Yala Esports. And right now, Myths are looking the better team out of all three because they still have a full squad up.
Phil, kind of sage for Ida, not going to lie. He has died twice. Very early on in the game, 2 games back-to-back now. And you mentioned it earlier, especially last game on Miramar, where Ida did lose his life early on. He is one of the top fraggers of the entire tournament at the start, at least for the first 3 games, and I don't think that's the case anymore, purely off the back of those 2 last games. Spray will be coming out from Jamaz. Unfortunately, not enough ammo to really dent side of Myth. So they're going to be moving on out and make it far into the distance and make it to the compound. Get out now.
Smoking?
Thank you. I was like, you're pushing your luck a bit, man.
Yeah. Whoa, that was, especially with all 4 in one vehicle, right? We constantly harp on about that. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, we focused quite a lot of attention on, obviously, 3 teams in one city. We really need to bring it back to where teams are currently rotating as we get through the blue zone of Phase 1. Yeah. DRS had an easy rotation from Yasnaya. It's where they drop, and they've sent Mafia Ninja to scout a little bit further down to the east of Yasnaya. The Xavier have rotated extremely nicely in towards the north center area of this Phase 1, and A1 Esports is right on top of this center part of Phase 1. It's the kind of logging cabin hills overlooking prison. They're going to be able to get a decent bit of a control if they spread out a tiny bit on this phase 1. I understand why they aren't, because they've literally just rotated there, but now that they've got there, they need to at least send one player a little bit to either the east or the west to start getting information, because they can't be bunched up together, otherwise too many teams are going to get close to them.
I mean, right now, this is a blessing for A1. They got a strong position. The amount of information they could gather is really strong. But it could turn into a curse if the circle does not go their way and they do not execute their rotation out of that position effectively.
Yeah.
So that's something. A1 is a good position, but it also has, just like for Spider-Man, you also have a lot of responsibilities when in such a position, right? And you must be careful of how you try and leave that location. If you're just going out on the whim without trying to pay attention to what's happening around you, things aren't going to go too well. So, talking about things that are not going too well, this could not go too well for the likes of DS Gaming or even from Na'Vi, as they're both rotating around from the northern side of George Pole. But I think that DS Gaming started picking up enough speed where Na'Vi can't really catch up, so hopefully that's not going to go back and forth. And I don't think they really want to take the fight because it's in the blue, it makes no sense. If these teams could have like an unwritten agreement of, let's not fight, let's start fighting inside the circle, I think that would be the best course of action for them.
Zeus are going quite direct into the circle from that west. I'm relatively early. Well, they started relatively early, but now they're into the circle as phase 2 is about to pop up. Geek Fam are showing great trigger discipline, right? Why take shots on the team that are holding good momentum on their rotation? You're better off just staying quiet for the time being and then catch them out later on as phase 2 pops up. That's the way I would look at it, at least. But they're going quite deep. They've avoided Nasser, they've avoided Geek Fam, they've avoided Valdez. So really good from Zeus. Again, that kind of what seems like a bit risky, but is the opposite to an unorthodox play, is freedom for Zeus to move in.
Yeah, Zeus can just play around the position of shelter, so we'll see. Circle going to be taking a lot of the water. I wanted to actually talk about the water. A lot of water in play kind of made this a phase 2, and you can see it. Literally all of the mainland, at least most of it, will actually fit in that phase 2 circle, so nothing will change. We're not expecting any teams to go out unless a big throw of a play happens, then potentially, but otherwise this is going to be a very laid-back phase 2, even phase 3 potentially, I would say. And Valdez going straight for central position, and Blank mentioned it, right? He's paying attention to the rotations, and I've been checking out too. They are so quick to react to any kind of shift.
Yeah.
And that is what's rewarding them with being on top of their games every time. And I think that that is the recipe to success that they found. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I loved I8's rotation from Military Island and the military base. I thought it was very quick. It was clean because they wrapped around the south of Milta. But one thing that worries me about them is that they often spend too much time rotating and not enough time actually being in one position and becoming settled in that position, ready to take a team fight. It's where they've gotten caught out in the first game, etc., by not necessarily leaving it too late, but for rotating for too long and then being caught off guard for that. Right now, they're on the western edge of Prison Hillside, which isn't a bad place to be, but is very risky. Again, they gotta be aware that Prison Hill is a kind of hill where there's always a higher ground. A1 are there at the very top of that higher ground. Zeus are to the west of I8. Let's see how they deal with it coming into phase 3.
As long as you're aware of your surroundings and you're not trying to take an uphill battle, then you should be fine playing around Prison. That's the only thing you've got to keep in mind. Though, the Xavier trying to move out. They're going to go... Wait, I heard you call this position so many different names. What is it now? What
Museum.
Museum now, okay. A museum, because what was it called before? We used to call it...
it was called Walmart before.
Walmart, that's it, yeah. From Walmart to museum. I'm not gonna lie, hey, culture's Pog, okay? I prefer this. Museum good, keep it up.
I'm glad it gets your approval, Max.
Yeah.
I
went
know
to a museum
that,
like a week ago. It's so fun, man.
You
I
did?
I like fossil, like dinosaurs and everything.
Fossils?
Fossil. Hey, I said it in French, okay? It's fine. Let me...
But no.
Like...
I'm struggling to say you've...
Like big dinosaur boys,
Zeus,
okay?
never mind dinosaurs, okay? So don't worry, you're good there, man. You're good there. Reject Scarlet, they have kind of Potato Hill area under control. But what I like about it is because Potato Hill is now on the southwestern edge of the circle, it's much easier for them to spread out a little bit and get information into a more central area of the circle, and there's a much higher chance they're not really going to get backstabbed from behind. So I really like that awareness from Reject and just reacting to that circle shift on phase 2.
Phase 2, we're talking about that one, is about to close up and head into the next phase, so that could be a big exciting one, especially if it's a hard shift over to the east or down south. That's where a lot of teams are currently missing. No one's ready in farm, no one's ready in the position around Mansion and Prison, especially on the east. That could be a big hard shift that could go against a lot of the teams, but Reject, they're going to go up against Fnatic Zombies as they are just struggling. There's one play on the roof though, and I don't think they're fully aware of that right now. A boot could actually completely surprise the side of Reject, but now Sarah has to have the information, going to mow him down, and that's it. They lost the eyes that they had on top of that roof, and now Fnatic Zombies are just getting picked up one by one, and they only have a few players currently remaining. Salam, that was so clean. That has to be one of the quickest and snappiest bridges I've seen. They lose literally no one, and the zombies will not come to life this time around, and they are out of the lobby in 16th.
Remember what I said about spreading wings, getting information? They got the information and they pushed it perfectly. But also what I love, the reason why that worked out is, one, because the risk of having somebody in the roof, I saw what they were going for, but it didn't work out. But Reject automatically stopped Fnatic Zombies from holding the edge of that hill. The edge of the hill could have been the reason why Reject lost that fight, but because they pushed in deep and stopped the edge of the hill being held onto by Fnatic Zombies, it was an easy Reject win.
Or maybe biting down a bit more than they can actually chew. That's another big fight Reject are taking. There's a little bit more resistance, I would say, versus Bigatron. There's now Luxy and Rising still up and ready to go. Luxy needs to make up for the few weaker performances at the start of the day. Oh, his twin is going to be entering the building, going for the res potentially. The Molly goes a little bit higher up. The nades, the utility still getting traded back and forth. Now the rest of the team of Reject joining up, and Zeus, they go for third party, man. This is a party, and they got the invitation. And Zeus gonna go actually just into the building, just more over to the northern side. Not gonna get fully involved with this fight. They want to wait for it to end before capitalizing and joining the party. So things will slow now, but they're gonna ramp up pretty quickly.
I love that the first game of the day was quite passive, quite chill, but now we're in the last game of the day. All hell is breaking loose.
We're going for it, man. They're all throwing everything they have. Throw the spaghetti to the wall, see if it sticks. If it does, you're doing good. Just trying to actually reduce the effectiveness of the two other teams against them by using that utility, finding some knocks and damage. It is making that so much easier. Zeus is currently the knife going through some butter and is looking so easy how they're playing around it. BTR still got currently 3 players. Nades, they have the idea. They know where BTR currently playing in this location. Godless is right down below, definitely in nade range. The Bigatron, how are you going to play this one? You're all catered in one building. Maybe it will be good to jump out, send a player to actually get the information around the side of the buildings, but they want to stay catted inside, and you're going to get naded eventually. It was just a question of time. Ziol gets the first one. BTR now down to 2. Is Luxy and Zuxy. Let's see how the twins can make things work out. As Luxy actually inside the smoke, they do not know. He could try and backstab it coming out from behind. Godless pushes up, gets an extra knock. Now it's just one that's going to be remaining, and they spot him out instantly inside the smoke. And what a push from Zeus, rising up to the occasion. And now 5 kills coming their way with still 3 players. That was a push that was a little bit slow, but the execution was on point. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, and I get why they were a little bit slow in it, because it's a tricky building. As much as it's one building, it's actually a tricky building to breach, and a lot of smokes were utilized by BTR, so Zeus didn't really have the vision. So relying on the nade that eventually did secure a knock was the opening for Zeus to push in, and BTR got wiped out. Circle does shift over to the west. It could be a school/apartment finish. Great for Blacklist International. Yalar committed to school. Nasser at the moment committed to apartments, but I'm not really a big fan of that one. I8 though are looking for a bit of an engagement. No, they're disengaging away from this one and opting to play for the circle. Not a bad idea. DS, will they be able to catch one of them off guard? I don't think that's the case. Good eye gelling from I8.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call coming out from them. They can easily cross over the bridge just right up north of Rosok, or the one a little bit further up northeast. It works out great. Though you've got to be careful. Na'Vi and even the likes of Blacklist International could be there. But we're talking about the circle that could go into apartment/school. We saw one actually in the PMPL Western Europe, right, with Black Spark, I believe it was. Yep. And it's very intriguing. If it does come to that point, we'll explain a little bit what the stakes are and how things should work out for a lot of these teams. But if it does go there, a lot of teams are going to have to be very cautious of their next move, because it's not an easy compound to fight in at the end.
What I liked about I8 just there and then is that they stopped across the river first before they swept over the bridge. getting that tiny bit of information was so valuable. I think they have an idea that Blacklists are there. They're breaching in, but they didn't see Navi. And Navi heard the vehicles, and they do third party to get a knock on the bosom.
Well, big Xavier lose everyone except for one player's going to be actually Frankie. Stays up. Oh, there you go. Brody gets himself the knock at the end onto Lamborghini also. So a lot of kills currently are happening on the kill feed. I8, UZM, and also Crypto might be losing their life. And they are spread away. Currently the 2-2 split. 2 players taken down. Makes it really hard to really pull on assistance. And Navi, they're going to be pulling up and going for the assault onto I8.
Oh my God.
Every single kill they can, up to 4 so far. Na'Vi, can they get himself another banger game just like last one on Erangel? But can they this time convert it in a win or a top 3? That's the focus. They see Valdez moving in the distance, trying to shut them down, move them out of the way. But seem like Valdez are not ready for this fight, so they're just going to ignore it entirely.
Well, Navi kept Kitsune a little bit further back. Now Kitsune is going to look to join up with them, get closer, so they're all committed to that one area, because they got deep in that fight against I8 that they really felt like they had to commit it. If Valdez hadn't repositioned onto Rozhok Hill, Kitsune probably would have stayed there, but great awareness by Kitsune to join back up closer to his team. But other teams are looking for a mix into this northern side of the circle. Rise Zeus heading in this direction.
I was just going to third party again. I mean, they could. They definitely could. The fight's currently roaring up between I and Na'Vi. Oh, I think, yeah, okay, the Molly did connect for a few seconds then. Not going to get the knock on the play of Na'Vi, I believe, just yet. I think I was slowing down, but we've seen Geek Fam a lot in the kill feed Imperium. Like, an insane... Oh, okay, Blade, no, you can't do that, Molly, man. Ah, that hurts him a lot. Now he's down to 1 Rebers, and he's indeed going to go in and take a little quick nap and dream it up, as he's going to be out of the game. And Na'Vi will still be up as a 3-man. Losing Tixi in the process, unfortunately, but still, now you've got to be careful as Zeus are creeping their way closer.
Also, just gonna love the fact that in all of that, Blacklists are just like, yeah, we're minding our own business. You guys fight amongst yourselves. We have a position inside the circle. We'll let you do your own thing over there. So really good kind of intentions from Blacklist. I would like to have seen them potentially third party, but I also appreciate the fact that they didn't. And it might not be a school finish, but it's certainly looking like a hell of a finish in Rozhok.
Oh, let's see who's going to be the first one to take Rozhok Hill under control. There's only one team that can really make it there. All the other ones will have to take an uphill battle to get there, and that is not what you want. Seem like Yala Esport taking things a little bit slow, but they're starting to gain cast, so they're showing an intent to move away from school. Jamaz is going there first, but Concept also going to be moving into Rozhok itself, so things can get a little bit dicey as time moves on. That's going to be the uphill fight. Oh, Geek Fam as they're trying to clear out the entirety of apartment. Sanis will be the next one to follow up. They're going in one by one, and up the staircase is making it really hard for them. NASA also going to full send it through the apartment, through school, and trying to get into the circle itself. But that's it. Geek Fam actually able to win that fight, surprisingly enough. Damn rude. That was damn good coming out from him.
All those classics hot drops in apartments has paid off for the side of Geek Fam. They do clear out DS Gaming. A1, by the way, avoided all of that and wrapped around and gone into the edge of the circle by school. Yala, because they shifted up onto Rozhok Hill, like you said, who's going to be the first to take it? That's going to work out, but so he gets a kill onto Kitsune. Navi being tickled down one by one, and Zeus, they're not ready to give up just yet.
Yeah, Zol can't go on the roof. He knows there's going to be someone on Rozhok Hill. If he goes up there, he's instantly going to lose his life. And now Blacklist International, their focus is going to be shifting away from Zol towards Na'Vi. And not even Na'Vi, NASA too. Everyone is just trying to take down a few buildings under their control. And Na'Vi also going to be caught in between a rock and a hard place. This is an absolute wrecking of a game, Imperial. Everyone is having such a hard time to hold on to it. Zol, no way. He gets so much damage done. He's going to try and jump away. But as I said, you get on the roof, you're done instantly. About to see the opportunity, snatch away the kill away from the grasp of Blacklist International. Now Blacklist got another thing to focus on, and that is to get into the next phase circle once it shifts.
Oh my God.
This is game.
All 4 members of Valdez are in a line on the south side of Rozhok. They have every single building covered. Now,
back to back,
Yala are doing a fantastic job of holding down Rozhok Hill, the high ground area, but they can't actually engage on the Valdez because of that dip. If they go too far forward, they have too much of their body exposed, so Valdez are actually in cover right now.
I think that's good. Give himself some extra damage. Sam might not be able to get rezzed up. Oh, seems like he makes it into another building. I think they know the res is happening onto the back end of the building, so he's going to try and get the second nade. But unfortunately, that's another room, so NASA will be safe to go for the res onto Hassan. There you go. He's good to go. if the circle goes round top of Yala, and we talked about it, and you mentioned it, especially in Pyramid, this team has been, impressive for a team that hasn't got that much experience at this level of play, and they're looking great. But you know what's looking great? Valda's position in the circle. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Although, look at Blacklist. They have the north side. Now, they do need to travel down through the Rozhawk buildings, but they have a full squad, right? So they can send 2 at a time, send 1 scout forward, sweep in through. Navi aren't confident about moving forward onto Nasser. The initial knock they got, they were so afraid to push that because of potential stab from Blacklist or from another team like Valdez. They are not moving.
This is going to be the sacrificial lamb trying to create a little bit of an anchor point for the rest of his team to rotate from. But they got thick and thin to go through Imperium, and they need to really take good fight after good fight. Otherwise, there's no way they're going to make it happen. Sinister does make it to another little bit of a ridge line. Sanes is going to be really close for Geek Fam, so he could play spoilers for Sinister, but it seemed like that will not be the case. But Yala also spawned out from another side. Sinister gets confirmed and stolen away by Geek Fam, actually. He's going to get that. And they go, man, 2 teams instantly got wiped off the surface of the earth down south. That creates a lot of breathing space for not only Yala Esport, but especially Geek Fam. But Geek Fam, you need to push onto Yala if you want to even have the slightest of chance to get a top 3 finish in this game.
Easier said than done.
Yep.
Mandar gets revived up. Jamis is on a tiny bit of health in the sniper tower, but he pulls off the first aid. Yala are actually committing to the buildings. They're just going, nah, screw Rozhawk Hill. We're out of here. We're going into the safety of the buildings. That I can respect as DRS going up against the side of Nasser.
Yeah, all cornered up in 1 extra position. Nas making the spray really easy to deal with for Navi's side. And final player, Nima, going to try and clutch it up. Let's see if he can pull on a similar situation to what happened earlier on Sanhok versus DS Gaming. Another slowing down the Tad. Nasser going to try and confirm a few of those kills. While Navi up, taking a relatively big beating. Matic is still there, could go for the res onto Meku. I think he knows Nima's right behind.
Oh, that's a lovely nade.
Properly. That's a lot of damage actually exploded mid-air. Great nade from Hassan.
And for a team that are at the bottom of the standings, have failed to really show up today, Nasser at least looking to end on a high note inside this final game of the day. Still 17 left. 17 players. Valdez have a full squad still sweeping on the south side of Rozhawk.
I have one main issue here for Valdez, and as I was about to say that, is because they're so spread, if one player gets knocked, that's going to take a lot of time for you to go for the res, and you're losing more free real estate. This is what happened.
Fair.
One player getting knocked, instantly you're going to have Gui coming out to the side, trying to go for the res onto Martin. And because of that, that creates a lot more space. And the weaker sides of a position like this is going to be on the 2 sides, which you're not facing. Because of that, Yala have a very clear chance of ruining this game for Valdez if they play their cards correctly.
Oh, but look at that circle shift. The road is in the middle.
Look
you have a tiny bit of the north of Rozhawk can play, and the south side of Rozhawk, which Valdez are in, is still inside the circle. Plus that building that Nasser holds onto, as far as I know, that's still in the circle. Navi, do you have the cojones to push on it? Navi have been underperforming today, let's be fair. They're the CIS champions. They are the EMEA champions. And where are they so far in the standings? They're down in 12th.
Nima?
Gotta do better in this final game.
I don't think Nima realized, and Nima actually crawled a little bit too close to the fire and burn the tips, and that's going to be done as they get eliminated out in 7th. 16 now remain. The thing is, with a circle like this, you're going to have 2 teams remaining potentially. The King of the North and the King of the South. That is how things are going to work out, and then they're going to have to fight over that road. That's how things should be finding closure this time around. And as you said, the team that hasn't been having a great amount of success, just like Na'Vi, they're going to have to take that fight 2v2, and only one of those will be able to actually come out on top. And from the likes, from what I'm seeing currently, Na'Vi are the one that have to push onto the side of NASA. Great nade coming out from Concept onto Bandar, slowing down that approach from Yala Esport, and Jamal just able to barely survive on the slither of HP. Everything is going down south for Geek Fam as they get picked up and eliminated in 6.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Geek Fam might have been able to do something to stab Valdez in the back some way, shape or form. That hasn't come to fruition. Jamis is very low in health, so is Loka. Reluctant to try and go for the revive, knowing that another nade inside that building could be the death of Yala Esports.
Yeah.
5 teams left, 15 players.
Almost got the kill confirmed onto Bandar for a second there. This is great response for Valdez again. I know we're saying that Valdez has been doing great all the time, but because it's true. See how we said they were in a line? The weakest side was going to be where Yala are pushing from. Now you have Concept, GUI, and also Martin putting full focus onto Yala because they know no one's going to push over the road. It's so clean. I have literally nothing to say. I have no criticism to give because there's no criticism to be given in the first place.
Now Navi starting to move. They've Blacklist on one side, Nats are on the other though. So difficult to deal with as a blue zone of face. Never mind the fact
Bye-bye.
that a nade knocks down Matic.
And NASA's nades are gamers second to none. They are absolutely shredding it, but now Blacklist, they know there's only one team that can survive in this current landscape of the game. We need to take down the two other teams that are sharing the buildings and the compound with us up north. That's exactly what they're going to be doing. Hassan behind the wall, got to be careful. Meku holding the staircase with UMP's got to reload. Not a lot of ammo on that weapon. It's not great to clutch it up. That's one down. NASA, see you later. Same for Na'Vi. Two teams instantly picked up. And they shall be the king of the north. That is going to be Blacklist International, securing a top 3 bare minimum. But now, who is going to be the king of the south? Is it going to be Yala or is it going to be Valdez Esports?
Oh my lord, I feel like it's going to be Valdez for the back-to-back as they take down Yala. We're left with our final 2 teams. And knock onto Tyra creates a tiny bit of an opening. 6 is on the top floor of that building. Just keep an eye on 6. Because if 6 can get a couple of shots and suppress Blacklist even more, that could allow Valdez to sweep across the road and just go full ham on the Blacklist side.
You must be kidding me. This is absolute insanity to see that every single game today, Valdez has ended up top 3. One of those actually resulting in a win. And they might get himself a back-to-back to close off day 1 here for the Eastern PUBG Mobile World Invitational. This has to be some of the most dominant performances I've ever seen. Chucks the pan, he's like, hey, you never know, man, I might just get one. And it's a proper 4v4. But the circle, I can't even see it. They're all on top of each other. I don't even know where the circle went.
It's on the road, baby. It's on the road.
For sure, back on the road again. That's for sure. Nice nade, that's huge. That's what Aeon's wanted. Now they got the man advantage. But normally, they might just have enough time to actually go for the res if they're inside the circle itself, which it seems like they are. They're going to smoke it up. But because of that, Valdez are going to also lose a lot of information onto Blacklist International, and now they're creating that smoke road. They're going to be sending Alas first to actually create that distance and to actually close off that gap, should I even say. Alas going to be the first one to go on down. 4 players now up. They got the res onto 6, and now they got themselves 1 knock. Do they want to push? What is the game plan that Valdez wants to pull off?
More smoke's being thrown out. Try and create a little bit of space. The movement comes in. The revive has not been pulled out. Blacklist are down to 3 players. Martin is knocked down. 6 was revived up. Valdez, they're pushing forward.
Yeah, I like it. They're sending Martin a little bit wide onto the side to get information, to see exactly how they're pushing. Claire is going to be able to get himself the kill confirm onto Martin, so no more information coming away of Blacklist International. Everything is going to the wall. I have no idea what's happening right now, but I can tell you as a fact that there's still 3 players remaining for Valdez. They are taking him down 1 by 1. There's an extra player. There's only Claire that's going to be up and ready to go, and they pick it up, Imperium. Again, in one of the most bizarre finishes I've seen in Rostock, they make the back-to-back dream become reality in the World Invitational, and the team from Thailand of Valdez Esports get themselves 5 top 3s out of 5 games. What is happening?
My God. Either way, whatever happened at the end of that game, we were going to have 1 team with 2 chicken dinners in day 1 of the PMWI. Safe to say, the best bet came through. It was Valdez Esports with a fantastic finish. And that's the thing. Pushing on the road, being aggressive on that roadside, believe it or not, was the most important factor of winning that game. Blacklist were the first to do, which was brilliant. But then Concept slowed Blacklist down by getting an initial knock as they pushed across the road. I felt like Blacklist slowed down after that. Whereas if they hadn't have, Blacklist could easily have taken out Valdez. So just that tiny bit of domino effect allowed Valdez to then push across the road and get the win through the smoke. It was wild.
I gotta accumulate my thoughts a little bit here, man. This is one of the most insane starts to a tournament I've seen. Like, we've seen teams start off well, right? I think that every tournament you see that happen. But a team that starts off this well, I've never seen that. 5 top 3s out of 5 games on the very first day of an event like this is huge. But now the question is, because today is done, that was the last game of the day, can they follow up those kind of results into day 2, into day 3, into day 4? They do that just a bit more, and they are almost impossible to catch up with.
So
Lagi makan tikus. Aman, aman. Aman ya?
I miss home. I just want to go back.
Sembunyi dulu, sembunyi. Oh, itu linggis. Aman. Linggis aman. Kita ambil linggis, kita ke lampu merah. Christopher, moderator diomelin. Jangan, bro. Christopher. Ya Allah. Anda jangan ngata-ngatain Paduka Christopher. Dia menyuap menjadi moderator ya. Sama seperti Karisa. Oi. Terima kasih Bro Christopher Oi. Lu jangan teriak dong. Oke. Kita tunggu, kita ambil linggis dulu. Sabar semuanya, sabar. Kita ambil linggis dulu. Oke. Kok lu cepet amat kesini, Bang? Astagfirullah. Oh, enggak, aman, aman, aman. Kok lu balik lagi ke sini? Tenang dulu, tenang. Christopher dikatain useless langsung sawer, bro. Sabar. Kapan perginya nih setan? Oke. Oke, aman. Tunggu suaranya hilang. Oke. Ente jalan jongkok. Emang bisa jalan jongkok? Oh, bisa nih jalan jongkok ternyata. Yakin nih aman jalan jongkok? Aman. Hai bro, ambil linggis bro. Nah. Oh, ini kunci. Cuk, ambil cuk. Astagfirullah. Aman. Ini kunci. Sabar. Kita ambil kuncinya dulu ya berarti ya.
What was that? I think I'm hearing things.
Oke. Katanya dia bilang jongkok tadi. Ini kunci buat buka pintu ini, Pak. Oh, oke. Berarti kita habis ini berdiri, bro. Oke. Kita ambil. Easy, semuanya easy. Tahan emosi.
Seruan bareng Indo Pride. Jadi buat teman-teman yang lagi nonton sekarang, yang lagi nobar, jangan lupa spam hashtagnya Indo Pride. Karena dari hari ini sampai tanggal 25 Juli 2021 kita akan segera dan akan selalu menyaksikan Indo Pride yaitu Bigetron Red Alliance untuk berlaga di PMWI 2021.
Betul, dan kali ini BTR akan berhadapan dengan lawan-lawan yang sudah ini ya lama kita nggak ketemu nih Pas ya, dari mancanegara, benar-benar dari Southeast Asia, dari South Asia, bahkan dari
Primos, mereka tertahan dan bahkan mereka terjepit oleh dua tim tadi, yaitu dari Vertic Zombie dan juga dari Yala. Jadi gue gak tahu kenapa, apakah mereka ada mungkin waktu di skrip ada kenapa ya. Tapi menariknya adalah Primos adalah kota yang sangat jarang sekali kita lihat buat dikunjungin, dan nggak tahu ada angin apa yang lewat tiba-tiba Vertic Zombie dan juga Yala turun di arah dari Primos, dan itu membuat Primos menjadi kota yang cukup penuh banget. Jadi ketika mereka coba untuk rotasi juga dari Vertic Zombie, sebenarnya mereka yang kurang begitu bagus ya untuk arah rotasinya di awal-awal, karena mereka harus kehilangan satu pemain yang pertama. Yang kedua, mereka lewat bagian utara. Berarti nanti ketika mereka masuk ke dalam zona yang kedua, mereka keluarnya itu lewat di arah dari Pochinki, jadi sisi kiri sana lewat barat. Dan untuk zonanya sendiri mendonat ke bagian tengah, setelah itu baru ngebaurus lagi ke atas ke arah dari Rozok, dan itu membuat Valdusnya yang harus kembali ya. Mereka udah keluar, mereka masuk lagi ke bagian dalam. Sedangkan buat Yala ini mereka sikut-sikutan dengan tim mid tadinya. Dan untuk BTR sebenarnya mereka udah bagus banget ya, dimana dari reject mereka mulangin Fanatic Zombie buat di awal-awal, dimana ada Sarah dengan solo killnya, itu juga salah satu momen yang harus kita ingat. Dan kita lihat dulu untuk apa nih Pak, top recap. Kita lihat untuk recap winner kita kali ini, dimana WWCD-nya ini dia Irangel dipegang oleh Blacklist, DRS Gaming pegang Sunhawk, Geekfam Irangel Valdus, dan juga Valdus lagi untuk Miramar dan juga Irangel. Itu dia untuk recap daily winners kita, dengan total damage terbesar dipegang oleh Geekfam, tadi datang dari match ketiga. Buat di Irangel kita heal terbesar juga di sana, bukan di Sunhawk ya. Biasa kita lihat Sunhawk dengan ribuan heal, ternyata enggak ya. Sunhawknya bahkan minimalis banget, 293 heal. Dengan knockout 13 untuk kill terbanyak di Miramar terjadi dan di atas namakan dari tim Valdus. Dengan 14 kill yang diraih oleh mereka. Jadi mungkin yang pertama masih mapping, kedua juga masih mapping, yang ketiga dan yang keempat itu sudah mulai ada pemecahan rekor-rekor di yang sebelum-sebelumnya. Apa yang terjadi itu udah diperbaiki semuanya juga. Wow. Dan overall ranking, seberapa jauh Valdus akan berlari di hari yang pertama untuk PMWI PUBG Mobile World Invitational kita. Apakah selisihnya 40 atau bahkan sampai ke 50? Seharusnya di angka-angka 50-an. Oke, bener saja hampir 50 ya, 49 poin Valdus Esport peringkat pertama dengan double back to back WCD. Geekfam sendiri 56 poin, ada Blacklist peringkat ketiga dengan 55 poin. Xavier ada di sana dengan 51 poin. Zeus DS berbagi poin sama 38. Jadi ini karena WWCD yang pertama mereka sama WWCD placement point yang menentukan dibandingkan dengan kill point, baru setelah itu ada kill point. Bigetron Red Alliance peringkat ke-7 dengan 38 poin juga, ini sama semua ya, 19, 16, 15. Wow. Yala Esports 36 poin, sudah mulai menyalak juga untuk Yala Esports-nya. Berada di bagian atas dengan top 8 kita. Jadi top 4-nya dipegang oleh Southeast Asia. Seberapa jauh kali ini untuk negara Asia akan bisa berlari, kita akan menjadi saksinya juga untuk 3 hari ke depan setelah ini ya. Karena kan ini matchnya 4 hari nih, Kamis, Jumat, Sabtu, Minggu. Jadi masih panjang banget dan juga ini pasti akan menjadi tontonan menarik untuk kalian semuanya. Jadi teman-teman jangan lupa untuk ajak teman-teman kalian yang lain. Selalu berikan dukungan yang positif juga untuk ke semua tim yang lagi bermain sekarang, karena ini juga untuk charity teman-teman ya. Bukan cuma pribadi semuanya. Jadi yang di pertandingan di sini pastinya adalah pride dari masing-masing tim dan juga masing-masing negara. Dan Valdus Esports, kita nggak tahu sih PR apa yang diselesaikan sama Valdus Esports, tapi mereka terlihat sangat-sangat siap sekali. Mereka sangat-sangat menakutkan sekali untuk di mapping, karena hanya sekali saja mereka tergelincir itu di top 5 juga gitu lah, yaitu di match pembukaan. Setelah itu ketika mereka udah dapetin temponya peringkat ketiga, 2, 1 dan juga 1. Jadi nggak terlalu jauh sama sekali, dan mereka adalah yang terkonsisten sejauh ini, sejauh kita melihat apapun yang terjadi ya. Dari Geek Fam sendiri juga bisa dibilang mereka juga cukup konsisten lah. Tapi ada satu round di mana mereka harus terlempar keluar bersama dengan Blacklist. Blacklist 2 round mereka keluar cepat. Geek Fam mereka tereliminasi cepat itu di 1 round aja. Jadi itu yang membuat mereka harus puas di peringkat kedua dan juga peringkat yang ketiga. Oke, dan untuk patch kedua yaitu peringkat ke-9 sampai dengan ke-16. DRS Gaming memiliki poin yang sama bersama dengan Reject. Tapi di sini DRS kalian bisa lihat WWCD-nya 1 ya. Jadi itu makanya bisa ada di atas dari Reject, padahal dari placement point kalah dari Reject. Di sini lebih jelas kelihatannya. Navi dengan 30 poin, Teammates 21 poin, ada A1 di peringkat ke-13 dengan 16 poin, I8 Esports 15 poin, ada NASR dan NASR sudah naik ke atas. Akhirnya semua tim sudah berhasil untuk mengkoleksi double digit poin. Di peringkat ke-15 kita melihat NASR, dan peringkat ke-16 kita melihat Fanatic Zombies dengan 12 poin. Ingat, masih Day One, ini masih akan bisa kejar-kejaran satu sama lain. Jadi jangan takut ya, siapa tahu ada tim-tim idola kalian yang masih berada di bagian bawah. Gak apa-apa teman-teman semuanya, mereka masih bisa naik kembali ke atas karena masih ada 3 hari yang bakal dimainkan dengan total 20 round. Jadi itu banyak banget sih 20 roundnya. Tapi bagaimana cara untuk mereka mengalahkan dominasi Valdus hari ini? Akan menjadi sesuatu terutama untuk Geek Fam yang sangat dekat sekali dengan Blacklist juga. Tapi untuk perbedaan dari Valdusnya ini hampir 2 kali lipat. Player MVP, siapakah yang akan mendapatkan atau memegang untuk kali ini atau mungkin untuk hari ini? Bahkan Martinkah dia atau konsepkah dia? Karena Martin seharusnya adalah top fragger kita ya. Let's see. Kita lihat bareng-bareng aja. Martin, betul banget. MVP-nya dipegang oleh Martin. Nice clutch tadi 1 ngelawan 4. Ya dibalikin semuanya, membawakan WWCD untuk Valdus. Average damage-nya 673. Berarti kalau dia main 5 match itu 3000-an damage-nya dia. Average skill-nya berarti tiap round-nya ini adalah 4 lah, 3,8 dengan survival time-nya 24 menit 41 detik. Jadi panjang banget untuk survival-nya. Dia kayak menjadi hantu untuk tim yang lain di mana ada Martin. Kayak ini 1 orang tapi bisa membalikin keadaan semuanya. Jadi itu bahaya banget untuk tim yang lain, dan besok orang inilah yang akan menjadi target man untuk tim yang lain. Kalau mereka bisa nge-shutdown Martin, mereka pastinya akan dapetin angin segar untuk bisa maju. Cuman Bawah mau ngingetin juga buat tim yang lain mungkin bahwa masih ada 1 orang lagi yang berbahaya. Konsep dari Valdus yang gak kalah garangnya sebenarnya, dia masih ada di bayang-bayang dari Martin juga buat sekarang. Tapi dua-duanya sebenarnya 11-12 dari segi aim dan juga dari segi playstyle. Jadi siapapun bisa ditempatkan sebagai pilar bagian belakang atau pilar yang berdiri sendiri, berdiri tegar. Itu adalah Martin ataupun konsep. Ya, PUBG Mobile World Invitational kita buat hari yang pertama ini udah lumayan panas banget. Dibuka dengan adanya tim-tim dari Southeast Asia yang sudah mulai terlihat mendominasi juga. Tapi peringkat 2, 3, 4 ini poinnya nggak terlalu jauh-jauh banget ya teman-teman ya. Dari Geek Fam, dari Blacklist, dari di Severe, DX atau kita singkatnya DX. Ini mereka nggak jauh, 51, 55 dengan juga 56. Jadi poinnya untuk 2, 3, 4 tipis, tapi dari 4 lompat ke 5, 6, 7, 8 sampai dengan 10, 11 lah kita bilang sampai 11. Ini punya poin yang sama dari segi penjumlahan di angka 30-an, 30 sampai dengan range-nya 38. Jadi ada terpaut 8 poin aja. Jadi papan tengahnya ini bakal panas banget ya. Papan dinginnya ini udah dingin banget terutama untuk Valdus sendiri karena mereka susah untuk bisa diturunkan. Mereka punya tingkat keamanan luar biasa. Ada turbulence juga untuk 1 map, mereka tusun. Gue rasa besok gak ada masalah, satu aja jangan 2, karena 2 terlalu berbahaya, bakal bisa kejar sama Geek Fam, Blacklist ataupun DX. Tinggal seberapa matang nanti mereka bisa memantapkan diri mereka untuk bisa bertahan di atas sana. Cuman kalau dari papan tengah yang harus diwaspadai besok ini bakal datang dari Navi, yang dari round ke round sangat-sangat membaik sekali. Ini progresnya Navi juga bagus banget ya teman-teman. Kalian bisa lihat sendiri di mana mereka datang dari tusun di match yang pertama. Tapi setelah itu mereka ada di papan tengah, peringkat 8, peringkat 7, peringkat yang ke-8 dengan koleksi poin dan juga dengan koleksi kill point yang cukupan lah. Cuman di last match tadi mereka bisa mendapatkan peringkat yang ke-4. Kalian bisa lihat bagaimana progres dari Navi sendiri sekarang. Dari 16 mereka cut 2, 8, 7, 8, dan setelah itu mereka masuk ke peringkat yang keempat. Jadi ini Navi adalah tim yang cukup trendingnya itu positif ya dari segi perolehan nilai dan juga poin-poin. Kalau buat yang lain kayak dari DRS di sini mereka memang berhasil untuk dapetin 1 kali WWCD tadi di round yang kedua yaitu di Sandong, tapi nggak terlalu mulus juga perjalanannya karena untuk di awal-awal progres dari DRS sendiri mereka kayak berada di peringkat yang ke-15 dan setelah itu juga ketika mereka kembali ke Irengel, raport mereka nggak terlalu bagus. Jadi padahal di sini mereka harus memainkan 3 kali Irengel. Nah, 3 kali Irengel di sini akan menjadi PR untuk semuanya. Apakah mereka sudah cukup siap sekali? Dan kalau kita lihat Valdus ini adalah yang tersiap. Ataupun bahkan dari Southeast Asia sih, dari Bigetron juga mereka udah cukup step up banget ya. Dari Irengel, bahas-bahas soal tim yang lain, kenapa kita ketinggalan buat Bigetronnya. Dari Bigetron sendiri, pembukaannya nomor 2 dapetin 11 skill point. Meskipun di sana nggak terlalu bagus, kembali di Irengel mereka nggak terlalu bagus lagi, tapi mereka mengulang di Miramar tadi yang cukup oke tadi dengan placement 7 dan juga berhasil untuk mendapatkan 7 kill point, memulangkan A1. Tapi sayang sekali di sini juga untuk Bigetron Red Alien sendiri, rapor mereka di Irengel tidak terlalu bagus kecuali untuk di match pembukaan. 2 kali mereka mendapatkan posisi 15, 1 dengan nggak mendapatkan point kill sama sekali. Yang kedua tadi mereka ketika ditabrak dari sisi belakang. Jadi berat tadi buat Bigetronnya untuk bisa lebih berkembang lagi untuk bisa naik ke atas. Oke, dan sisanya kayak dari Zoo. Boleh juga sih dari Zeus-nya ya, apakah akan bisa naik ke atas. Dan ternyata ya teman-teman ya, caster kita udah cabut semuanya. Enggak sih. Jadi